Hello, everyone. This is Sam from Remax and SaberiSixRealEstate. As always, back with another episode of Above Asking, here with my colleague, co-host, and sometimes my mentor in life.
Sometimes.
Uh, Ali,
Well,
Ali
yeah.
from Remax.
Yes.
You can find his contact information in the description box. You can find my contact information in the description box as well. As always, please feel free to subscribe, comment, give a thumbs up, and subscribe. That would mean a lot. And as well, get in touch with us if you have any questions. We are professional real estate agents in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. We have plenty of expertise in buying and selling. So if you have any questions on market trends, stats, or just general inquiry, please feel free to get in touch with Ali or myself.
Yep.
So Ali, I thought we can start talking about today. And hopefully this individual is in mind. I will talk to her privately. But I had a person reach out to me on my Instagram asking me if it was a good time for someone of this individual's age and status and experience to start in real estate and become a real estate agent because through my videos on YouTube, through my Instagram, they seem to think that I'm very successful at it, which I, happily am. But they also thought that it would be something for them as well, right? And they, texted me this long paragraph asking me, should I start? What do you think? And before we give our feedback, which I already gave to this individual privately, but I thought it would be a good point of conversation for us. I asked this individual to call me and we can have a phone conversation. We had it. So first off, if someone were to reach out to you in similar vein, what would your feedback to this person be? And I can tell you specifically when I talk to this individual, I can give you more details without revealing too much because age and all that matters. But
Right. Well,
generally speaking, if someone reaches out to you asking, hey, should I in 2020 start in Toronto as a realtor, is it for me?
No, you should hire me. There you go.
No, but all
No,
joking aside, would you recommend it as a career for someone?
Yes, I do. Listen, as long as you're of a decently mature age, like if you're like 14, 15, then that's quite a bit young. But if you're in your
I don't
early
think you
20s,
can even get your license at
you
that age.
can't, but you can. Yeah, you can't. It's not even about getting a license. You can't. You're right.
Yeah.
What's the age? 18, I think.
18, yes.
18, right. So even if you're 18, I think if you want to make a career out of it, then absolutely. Then you gotta go for it, and you really gotta work hard at it. Is there a great time, or is there a good time to ever become a real estate agent? No, I don't think there is. I don't think it's something that you can time and say, I'm going to wait until the market turns around or this or that. With the exception of personal circumstances aside, don't look at how the market is doing to determine whether you want to become a real estate agent or not. It's certainly a lucrative business if you work very hard at it. It's not just like one of these people have this misconception that you get a license, you do a couple of deals, and then all of a sudden you're driving a Ferrari. You might see that on Instagram, but that's not at all the case. So if you're willing to bust your hump and work very hard, then it can be a very lucrative and great career path. So would I recommend it? Yes. But if you're not willing to put in the work, and if you're not willing to hustle and really understand the business, understand the numbers, know how to negotiate, listen, learn, work under a mentor, then it's going to be a very difficult business, and it's not going to be as it's not going to go as well as you want it to go. And I think a lot of people do get discouraged and end up parking their license or going back to whatever job it is that that they had, or they just change fields. It's certainly something you gotta have thick skin to be in this business, and you gotta look past the failures, the disappointments, the no's. You're going to hear a lot of no's from a lot of potential clients and people. And if you can't deal with that and you can't look past that, then it's not a business that you should be in.
So that's exactly what happened. I asked for this individual to call me to have a better in-depth discussion with her on the phone. And before we get into the advice I gave this person, funny enough, I asked her, have you asked other realtors and what feedback have they given you? And funny enough, she said, all of them said, don't get involved. And they were very negative about it. Which I don't find surprising at all, because I think there is a sense of scarcity that a lot of agents work with in this business. And some of it is founded. Some of it is justified. I mean, the barrier of entry is far too easy. I personally would love if it was harder to become a realtor.
Yes, I agree
because
with that.
the dumb bring us down. You know, at the same time, you have been good about pointing this out, that even though there are a lot of uneducated people who don't really know how to do this job well, who have a license due to the low barrier of entry, and that brings our name down as professionals. It provides us an opportunity to, as the better ones, as the good ones, to truly excel and separate us ourselves from the pack. So having said all of that aside, I do understand why.
What is a scarcity? Sorry, what do you mean? A sense
Scarcity.
of scarcity?
The definition of scarcity is.
I know what it means, but why do you think there's a sense of scarcity?
Because a lot of realtors think that it is oversaturated, and in a certain sense, it is. There are, in terms of the number of professional realtors,
so that they will lose another deal. There's more competition.
There's more competition. Now, I'm not saying that's how you think. I'm saying that's how a lot of people think, and that's why I think they gave him that advice to not get involved. It's not the right time, out of just pure cynicism and scarcity, which, once again, some of it is justified, but not to that extent. Point being, though,
before you continue, I just want to say something about the scarcity thing. That's because their mindset is scarce. They come from a scarce mindset. This business, there's ample opportunities. There's ample opportunities. There's endless amounts of clients, endless amount of money that you can make, endless opportunities in the sense that there's so many different niches in real estate that you can focus on, where there's not a lot of competition, or you can really excel and shine through in the business. Like, I mean, there's condo specialists, there's pre-construction condo specialists, resale condo specialists, leasing specialists, land procurement specialists, land developments. The list can go on and on and on and on. And I think anyone that says no because there's already too many agents just is not doing very well, I guess. I think.
Well, no, you can acknowledge that it's very competitive, at the same time not have this defeatist attitude about it.
Business,
it is the nature of the business. Point being, though, what I told her all of this. One thing you touched on as well was the fact that if you can't handle no, then it's probably not the business for you, right?
Right.
And I said that in different words to this individual. I said, look, in this business, and frankly put, in my opinion, you deal with a lot of rejection, right? Now, it's not necessarily rejection in a malicious way. It's not someone always telling you no. It's sometimes the deal not going through, right? Someone told you yes, and just the stars didn't align for the deal to go through. Right. That's a form of rejection as well, right? Yep. And if you don't know how to deal with it and just take it on the chin and move on, right? It's probably not for you. Furthermore, there's a lot of and this individual also asked me the same question, like, is it the market? Is it the market? According to the market, is it a good time to get involved now? And I said, well, if you're going to think like that, it's probably a bad way to start, right? Because you're going to have peaks and valleys. That's just, you're going to do some years way more business than you did the preceding year, right? Point is for you to do your business consistently, so the peaks and the valleys are a little more at an equilibrium. Yeah, like there's a moving average. So if you think about it in terms of an opportunistic stance, oh, the market's hot right now, so I can get involved. Well, what are you going to think when the market's low? Are you thinking you're not going to do any business?
So one thing I wanted to say about these people that are trying to time it, especially when they see that the market is pretty hot and there's a lot of sales going on, or prices are creeping up, is that if they're trying to time it and that's when they want to get into the market, then these are generally the people that don't last very long. They essentially might make a bit of money, and then when the market settles down or maybe goes on decline, they end up leaving the business because they just couldn't cut it. They didn't save their money, and they don't have enough of a client base. And so anyone that's trying to time the market, especially when they see it, that it's on the up and they want to get into the game, then generally don't last very long. And so this industry, despite having a lot of licensed agents, has a pretty high turnover rate. Most of them only do a couple of deals a year. A lot of them don't do anything and just have a park license. And the majority of the deals are done by maybe 10% or 15% of the industry.
I would say it's not even the fact that a couple of them do just a couple of deals a year, because if you're dealing in like $5 million properties, you do a couple of deals a year, you're perfectly fine to go. I think what you're trying to say is,
even those guys, they do a lot more than a couple of deals, even at that price point.
Yeah, my point is not the quantity of deals they do, it's the quality of deals they do, and it's how they do those deals. It's usually they're doing another day job, and someone in the family, one of their friends wants the property. They bring up, I have a client, or I have a license. It's just usually people. There's a lot of agents who do this as a secondary side income.
Right.
Yeah.
But they're not full-time agents. I don't consider that person a real estate professional. They're not.
They're not a real estate professional, but when you look at it, just the number of how many people are licensed to be realtors or real estate agents, they count.
Right? I know they count. Yeah. That was my point. That a lot of them only do a couple of deals a year, if that, because they are part-time agents and they have a full-time job.
Yeah.
And if you have a multi-million-dollar property, don't give it to one of these people, because they're not going to be able to negotiate and sell it the way that a full-time professional does it.
No, these people usually work on the buying side, typically.
Right.
But point being, I'm surprised of what your feedback would be.
Why?
Because I thought you would be much more I don't think you come from a place of scarcity. I know this. I know Ali. The last thing he thinks of is scarcity. He's a very hungry individual and works very, very hard. That's why he's very successful. But you are a little bit more cutthroat in the sense of, I feel like if someone were to come to you, your suspicions would be raised, and you would immediately say, you know what, maybe that's not for you. Maybe I got the wrong impression, but
it seems like it. It depends on a person. Like if I know the person very well, and I know their personality and their character, I'll say, listen, based on what I know of you, I don't know if it's the right fit, but if you really want to do it, I encourage you to go for it. Right? It depends on a person. If it's just a random person off the street, I don't know. Hey, get into the business.
Well, that's why
you have to bust your hump. Don't think it's an easy paycheck. It's not.
It's not. And that's why I asked her to call me so I can get a better feel for what kind of. And one of the questions I asked was, surprisingly, what is your background? Now you might ask, well, why is that? Well, I think
like in terms of culture
and just country. She says she's Middle Eastern. Now, this is a theory I have as to why we see a lot of Middle Eastern, not just Persians though, Middle Eastern Asian agents, and why maybe the more North American working professionals are less in quantity, is because real estate is one of the only occupations in North America where it's a bargaining central type of, or centered on bargaining, right, and negotiating, right. And our cultures back home, that's everywhere. You go to the supermarket, you don't just pay.
They don't pay sticker price.
You don't pay what's on the sticker for even like 5 bags of limes. You can just
5 bags.
No, I'm serious.
What is that, having a tequila party? That's a lot of limes.
Well, it's illegal there, but tequila parties. But no, point being, seriously, for a bag of rice. I don't know why I'm coming up with food examples. Maybe I'm just hungry right now. But whatever it is, our culture, we're bargaining centered culture, right? And I think since this individual was from that background, I said, look, are you used to bargaining? Are you used to negotiating? Are you used to playing I guess games, a little bit of gamesmanship here and there, wherein people who are more so raised here, they're not as used to that element that is required for real estate, right? So I think that kind of cultural fabric is also very important in how well suited you are. Not to say by any means that if you are or from a culture that doesn't really bargain or negotiate or a lot, won't be a big good real estate agent. I know some of the best real estate agents, for instance, in my office are individuals who are of North American and European ancestry, right? So this is not to disqualify someone who doesn't have this. It's just simply to say that in the amalgam of all the factors that I would have to assess to say someone's good or suited, this is just a factor.
They're a little bit more inclined into this field. I get it. It makes sense. Well, I don't really have anything to add to that. I agree with you to an extent. I think it does come down to personality quite a bit. Your outlook and your character, and some are just not cut out for it. Some are not, and obviously that's why not everyone's a real estate agent. And some have other passions. But if you're a self-starter or you don't mind working around the clock or being up at midnight and checking out what's sold that day, then get into it. I recommend. It's a great business if you work hard at it.
I also did mention that as well, that it's not a 9 to 5, and a lot of people like that. Oh, it's not a 9 to 5. But they don't understand that sometimes, when I'm at my most frustrated driving from one side of the city to home and it's like 11:30 p.m.
Yeah.
I'm like, sometimes I do wish 9 to 5 doesn't sound that bad,
Right. It's not 9 to 5. It's 7 a.m. to 12 midnight is what it is.
7 a.m. to 6 a.m. of the next.
Exactly. So the whole, you're going to make your own hours and be your own boss. Yeah. Throw that out the window. That's...
it's funny. I would never say you make your own hours. I say the hours would make you. In the sense that hours make you. Make your own hours. But that's just some advice I gave to this individual who reached out to me. So
what is she gonna do?
Funny enough that she's gonna buy with condo with me now. So it was a very hopefully.
Good for you.
God forbid.
See? What I initially said.
Count my.
Just let me help you. Don't worry about it.
No, I mean it's not. It wasn't a. We just happened to it just happened to naturally occur, right? Okay. In conversation, I didn't seek it out. I never do that. But what's so then? Let's talk about our personal businesses now. That's something that's happened. What's happened with you personally?
Well, speaking of making up your own hours and everything, I have a client that happens to have a very busy schedule at their work, and so we were supposed to go see properties today, just after 3:00. However, last night I got a text message saying this week will likely not work. I'm like, oh. I've already booked the properties. And so they're going to try and work it out so we can still go see the properties today. But if not, well then, I got to cancel those appointments and essentially work on something else. So that's, when you say you make your own hours, your hours are sometimes dependent on somebody else and what they're doing, right? So, but this business isn't just about showing properties or going to listing appointments. There's a whole lot of other stuff that you have to work on constantly. Like I want to create a new website. So my previous website provider, I canceled my subscription there, and
you were not happy with the service?
I didn't like. Yeah, I think I was overpaying a bit. Not overpaying, because they do offer some pretty good services, but I wasn't using any of them. And so for just a standalone website with a CRM tied into it, I felt as if I could get it elsewhere for a bit less. And I'm ultimately not very happy with the look and feel of the website, so essentially want to recreate all of that. That just cleaning up my database of my past clients and prospects, all of that stuff, following up with prospects that I'd spoken with that might be interested in selling now or buying. So there's a lot of that stuff that happens and goes on that you don't see,
Exactly.
right?
You don't.
Everyone posts the look at this property that I'm showing, or look at this property that I've listed, look at what I've bought and sold for my clients. But you don't see a lot, like 99% of the stuff that happens that we have to work on, like creating a new website, cleaning up our CRM, taxes. I'm actually thinking of rebranding my logo and all of that stuff. So there's a lot of stuff that happens in the background that we don't share. So that's kind of what I'm working on. So I'm waiting to hear back from my client to see if we're going to go see the properties today. And then I have some other clients. We saw some condos, and we've been talking about condos quite a bit lately, and how the prices are going to be going down.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Did you just recently, and I saw this in passing, but I saw it on your Instagram.
Right.
Did you sold a condo or you bought a condo, right? Your latest.
That was a condo that I had sold. We closed about 2-3 weeks ago, but I sold it about a month or two ago. And
was it the one in Kitchener or?
no, that was a house in Kitchener. This was a condo in Markham.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I posted on Instagram. Sold it for the highest price per square foot. We even sold it for higher than a larger unit that sold this year. Not just this year, earlier this year. So that was a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom unit that sold for $420. We sold our 2-bedroom plus den, 1 bathroom for $450. So we sold higher than a larger unit, and the price per square foot, we pretty much broke a whole new record, 16% higher than the last highest, which that one was a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. So that was a larger unit than ours as well. So our smaller unit essentially set a whole new record in the area,
which is impressive given the condo market right now, how it's on a downward trend.
We sold this during the pandemic.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's impressive.
Thank you.
But yeah, I mean, in terms of my business,
Yes.
what's new with me, I guess, is I bought a house I bought a house for a client in Richmond Hill, which is closed.
Nice.
With obviously my partner, who's also my father. Also, I purchased another property with a client in Whitby, which is a very long and strenuous story. But I'm waiting on that to close, and I have a lot of buyers right now, but they're all condo buyers, and as we've said, we prioritize the financial, emotional, spiritual, all that, the happiness of our clients over how many deals we can do in a year, right?
Right.
So given the exception here and there where it might be the right time for them to buy, for most of them I said, look, it's better to wait until December to start looking. Right. So everything is, a lot of things with buyer side of things is on the back burner right now. I'm sure same with you, right? Obviously you're saying you're looking at places with a condo buyer, but I'm sure you have tons of other condo buyers that you're telling to wait until mid-November to December to start looking, right?
I am telling most of them to wait. In this case, this one couple, we saw a unit. We actually saw a few units in the same building. One of them we actually didn't get to see because it was sold conditional the day that we were going to go see the properties, and they wouldn't permit the showing. So, but then one on the lower floor came on the market that same day. So luckily I booked it in time and went to see that. Now, my clients happened to like that property. And they were interested in submitting an offer. And I said, guys, wait, it's the first day on the market. If you go in with an offer right now, we're going to, give the sellers the wrong message.
Exactly. That's such good advice you gave them, honestly.
Right. And I said, let's wait until the one upstairs firms up to see what that sold for. And that'll give us a better indication as to how the market is trending.
Yeah.
And sure enough, the one that we missed out on, they
reduce the price.
They sold for lower than asking by about $10,000, $14,000, if I'm not mistaken. So that's good for us. So when my clients saw the selling price on that, they're like, "Oh, this is awesome! Thanks, Ali, for not encouraging us to go in with an offer." And so once that firmed up, they're like, "What do we do now? Do we go in with an offer?" I'm like, "No,
just wait.
We're gonna wait. We're gonna wait a little bit longer."
Yeah.
And then we might wait a little bit longer before we go in with an offer. And I'll coordinate and I'll engineer how we want to present our offer and what angle we're going to go in on. But the last thing you don't want to jump to put in an offer right away, because then the sellers will think that we're more eager to buy the property than they are to sell it. And that puts you in that compromises your negotiating leverage.
Yes. That's very true.
So,
and the same thing occurs on the selling side as well. I mean, last year we had a client who wanted to sell a condo, and they were ready, willing, and able to sign it, put it on the market ASAP. And we told them to stop, wait for a week, because there was a very comparable condo that was sold conditional as well, and we wanted to see how much it went for. So it's not just on the buying side, right? All these principles go across the board when you have your client's best interest in mind. But that's just back where we can refer to agents who kind of operate from a place of scarcity. They would say, yeah, let's put the offer now.
Exactly.
Because they need to do it. And I'm not here to judge. Like,
they're chasing that commission.
But I'm not here to judge that, though, right?
No,
it's a hard business.
It is.
Unfortunately, doesn't mean they're bad people. It even can mean they're not bad agents, but in that instance, they are being bad in terms of how they're representing their clients. But it's just that's what we're talking about. That you shouldn't operate from a place of scarcity. And but anything else that's new with you?
There's a lot happening. I don't know where to start.
Is this how much you want to reveal in terms of personal business?
It's just some things we got to keep quiet until things they run its course and firm up, die, or whatever before talking about it. But yeah, no, that's about it right now. So I have showings this afternoon, and then I got to figure out and engineer a way to go in with an offer for this unit. We're going to wait a little bit longer before we do, but I got something up my sleeve.
So today was the first day of snowfall.
Yes. What a beautiful day.
At least here where we work, maybe in far north areas of Ontario. Obviously, it probably already occurred.
Right.
General topic of conversation, what changes for you when it starts snowing in terms of your everyday business? Nothing much.
Maybe I door knock a bit less.
Because
it's cold out.
I personally stopped door knocking, which is I go no pun intended, I start cold calling. But
I actually picked up a book on cold calling.
Yeah, I see it on your table
there.
every day I come here. Do you mind if I grab it?
Grab it. Go for it.
Cold calling techniques that really work, as opposed to a book that advertises cold calling techniques that don't work. This seems like an older book.
It is a bit of an older book. I've had it for a couple of years, and back then I wasn't cold calling, and I'm thinking about it now. this guy happens to. Well, I need to maybe pick up one of his other books that's more geared towards
Real estate?
real estate or retail, because this is
Just general advice for.
well, it's for corporate sales, really.
Okay.
Right. So it's B2B essentially.
Business to business.
Yeah. This guy is he's a sales trainer. He's a sales coach,
Yep.
and so he books his own. He does a lot of cold calling to book sales training and sales coaching with banks, whatever company. Like for him, there's no limits. He cold calls everyone, but he's got some really good strategies in there. So
Yeah, I do cold calling because I want to keep up with my fundamentals, I guess.
Mhm.
But I'm much better in person.
yeah,
I'm much better in person to the point where it just naturally occurs for me throughout the day.
mm-hmm.
For instance, I went to this dry cleaner because my girlfriend had dropped off her jacket. I had to grab her jacket on the way to see my girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
And in just a course of conversation, me and this individual started talking, and all this report started coming out where they mentioned they had a unit that they wanted to sell, a commercial unit, and we exchanged business cards, and she asked me for good advice for Persian food, where to eat Persian food. I gave her address, which is, by the way, Shishlik's best Persian food.
Yes,
the best Persian food. But
yes,
it's comes natural to me to do that. I didn't go into the dry cleaner saying, I'm gonna build rapport with this person and try to get them as a lead.
Yeah,
it just happened, and I find that much more enjoyable experience, and I'm better at it than cold calling.
Mm-hmm.
Where cold calling is very removed and it's kind of cold.
Yes.
It's in the word, it's in the name, but
No, fair enough. I haven't done a lot of cold calling. I've tried it. I've been told that I have a pretty deep voice.
Really? Who's told you that?
Well, let me finish what I want to say with that. And I think that if just over the phone, it can be a bit intimidating. I'm not sure.
That is
but
true.
When I'm in person, if I smile.
You don't smile. Come on. Who are you bullshitting, man? You smile. You only smile when you see me, which I appreciate. Yes. But
handsome Sam makes me smile.
But
no, but look, seriously though, it's I think in person, I smile. It comes off warmer than I think somebody else that might not have as deep and intimidating voice over the phone. They might do better. I'm not sure. I don't know.
I've heard from fans of this podcast. It feels weird. I was about to say it feels weird for me to call them fans. They're just viewers, I guess. Subscribers.
Yes.
But I have heard that your voice has. You know what ASMR? What is it called? ASMR.
No.
You don't know what ASMR is?
I may have seen it somewhere, but I don't
it's like this whole niche online where people like to listen to like deep voices, to soothe and relax them.
Oh, okay.
So a fan of this podcast reached out to me and mentioned that you do have an ASMR voice where it is soothing, right?
Okay.
Which
interesting.
I take that compliment however you want to take it, but I would say your voice is good for cold calling. I don't think it's intimidating. I think it's just.
Well, I'm curious what subscribers have to say. Leave a comment. If I was to call you and you don't know me, how would you, react to that phone call?
Yeah.
Would you be intimidated, or would it be more of an ASMR reaction?
It wasn't for me. It was for that individual.
No, right. So,
but
others, feel free to comment.
But yeah.
Okay, so you're gonna start cold calling as of when? Today?
Tomorrow? No, I tried.
You've already started.
I've tried. I've started. Also, I do a lot of emails as well.
Right.
Do you do a lot of emails?
I have a monthly newsletter that
No,
I send out.
but more like personal direct emails.
Depends if I'm working with a person or I just with some clients I will send out a personal email if we haven't talked in a bit. But generally, they hear from me once a month, and that's in my monthly newsletter that I send out, where I have the market commentary, as well as any of my own thoughts as to where the market is heading, which I want to talk about that with you. So we've been saying that the condo market is, the prices are going down, and our prediction was, and I remember saying this, that once immigration starts picking up again, the condo market will start to rise. And so an article came out, I forget, on I think CBC or the Globe, I forget where it was. But the federal government has announced that, I guess once this COVID is over, or once they lift the quarantine and they're relatively happy with the level of safety and the number of, outbreaks and all of that stuff, once we go back to like a relatively normal lifestyle where people go back to work and restaurants are open and we can dine in without being 30 feet apart, et cetera, the government will open up its doors again.
I don't think it's 30 feet, but
you get my point. The government will start opening up the doors again for immigration. And in the next 3 years, they plan on inviting 1.3 million immigrants into the country. Now,
that's legally, by the way, but
yes, legal immigration. We're not talking about illegal immigration.
But that's actually going to help
that's through the government. That's through our program.
Can I ask you a question? Is that going to, or foreign students are going to count under that figure?
I don't know.
Because
I don't know if that. No, I don't think that'll count for foreign students because that's different. We're talking about immigrants that are going to be living here, like not just for temporary, for school or whatever. They're moving into Canada.
So I was about to say that's really going to help with the rental market. I think
the rental market and the condo market.
Not maybe the condo market, obviously, but the rental market especially because most people rent
for sure
when they first arrive.
Usually their point of entry is condos, or they're gonna move out to the suburbs and pick up a townhouse for $600,000-$700,000 if they can get qualified for that. But yes, to your point, most of them are going to be renting. So condo owners, if you're in a position where you can hold off for another year and a bit, hold off because you will see the sunrise in the future. If you have to sell based on your financial circumstances, then that dictates that you need to sell. Just move on, and then in a couple of years you can get back into buying your investment properties and renting them out. But the rental market will start picking up again as soon as they open the doors for immigrants to start coming into the country. Rest assured, we're saying this. Well, we said it a while ago.
It's going to get worse before it gets better.
The rental market, yes. But how long will it be worse for? It's not going to be something. I don't think it's going to be worse for the next 3, 4, 5 years.
No, but I think it will be a year and a half to 2 years before. Maybe it's going to start slowly rebounding, but I generally do think that it will take till 2020, like late 2021 to mid 2022. To fully rebound in terms of the heights we've seen in the past for the condos, both purchase and sale and rentals. Because you got to understand, I still think demand won't be where it needs to be for the supply side of things. And I see it getting even seller friendly, maybe around late 2021, 2022. Do you think it's going to be later than that? Like you think I think
it might actually be a little bit sooner than that.
No, I'm sorry. Yeah, rather. Do you think it's going to be earlier than late 2021? Before, not saying it gets better than what it is now. First off, it's going to get worse. We both agree with that, right?
I think, December, January will probably be around the worst of it.
You don't think it's
Maybe
gonna get worse
February.
into 2021, like maybe February?
I
It's
think with the way
both
things are going,
purchase and sale, and rentals. Let's just talk about purchase and sale. But you don't think the prices will dip, and maybe the lowest.
when do you think the lowest will be? Like June next year?
No, I'm more so saying maybe like March ish.
Okay. So kind of in line January, February.
Yeah, and then I think it's slowly gonna rise back up
Mm-hmm.
towards maybe. It's gonna go back up. It's gonna get better, but I don't think it's gonna get to the levels we've seen in the past until 2021,
No, I
late
don't think it'll
2021.
get to the levels that we've seen in the past, but that really depends on when the government decides to open their doors and let the immigrants come into the country. That's really and my whole point in all of this wasn't necessarily that it's going to happen 2021 or whatever. My point was that people thought that the market is down and it's going to remain down, but immigration impacts this market a lot. And I think people underestimate, how much Canada relies on the influx of immigrants coming to the country. It impacts not just the real estate market, but all sorts of other industries. And Canada was built on, it was built on immigrants. Who are we kidding? I'm an immigrant. Were you born here?
No, I am an immigrant.
There
I
we
was.
The vast majority of everyone that I know is an immigrant. And
Well, we're
or
all
their
immigrants
parents
at
were
some
immigrants.
point.
Yeah, but all of these people
Yeah.
impacted and had an effect on the economy that we have right now, and have helped build this economy, and so will future immigrants. And my point was that the condo market is not in the gutter forever; that it will pick up again, especially once the borders open up for international students and for immigrants to start entering the country again. And I think if that happens by mid next year, then I think by the end of next year, it's once again, if it happens mid next year, then by the end of next year, I think we'll be in a position where there might be a balance in terms of the number of units and a number of tenants seeking those units. And so it won't necessarily be a landlord's market if we're talking about rentals, or a tenant's market. It's going to be a balanced market for both. And even on the buy side, I think that might be a little bit later, but it won't be very far behind. Those are my thoughts.
So, question for you: why do you think? Well, I have some opinions on this as well, but I want to get your thoughts on it first. Why do you think condo townhomes have not been hit as hard as condominium apartments?
Condo townhomes depends on their size, but
Generally speaking, obviously,
and the amenities. But usually the condo fees are a little bit lower.
Yep.
There's more space, and they're usually kind of in the outskirts.
And that's exactly where I was going to go. Is I had a person ask me this, and I said the same things. The fees are usually lower.
Yeah.
You do get a feeling of a freehold sometimes, right?
Mm-hmm.
You do have a backyard and all that. Mm-hmm. And there are on the outskirts. So they're typically for per square footage, you're getting more, right, than you would get in an apartment condo building, right? And it's interesting to see that. And I haven't run the numbers of this. I haven't looked it up. But I think a lot of first-time home buyers will gravitate more towards condo townhomes than just condo apartments as well. But point being, you disagree with that?
I don't think they're too bad, and I think most builders are going in the way.
They don't show
stacked
well,
more than row townhouses now. If they can build row townhouses, generally they're going freehold, not really condo. But if they're building townhomes, I'm seeing more stacked townhomes, especially in the urban areas, compared to the outskirts, to the suburban areas. they're building more freehold townhomes, not too many condo townhouses. But
Well, it
having
makes sense
said
in the
that,
urban areas where they would build stacked because
Right.
it requires you can build more units with less land.
right.
Whereas
Right.
rows, you need more land, right?
Well,
It makes
yeah,
sense.
and some people just prefer like not having a garden, stuff like that. With the stacked townhomes, you get a feel for a townhouse, but also kind of like a condo.
Which I just
It's
don't
just-
personally like at all,
Fair enough.
and it doesn't show well, especially the bottom unit.
Oh yeah, you gotta get the upstairs unit.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't. That's not a given though.
Yeah. Well,
That
yeah.
half of the units
on the ground.
won't show well, and that's why I just do think that a lot of first-time home buyers will gravitate towards condo row townhomes versus stacked, and especially as we said, condominium apartments. But
Fair enough.
we're gonna end it here for today. We're getting some signals from our producer that we have to end it, so we better end it. As always, you can find our contact information where, Ali?
Down below, Instagram handles, email, phone number. It's all in the description down below for Sam and myself. If you have any questions, comments, need some more information about the market, feel free to reach out to us. We would be happy to help you. And please do not forget to, like,
Subscribe.
comment, and subscribe.
Yep.
Till next time.
Will be appreciated. And yes, exactly. Till next time, stay in touch. Thank you.